Does anyone know how to make an angel shot? The bartender yelled across the restaurant, and the female bartender on the other side of the room dropped a glass and started sprinting toward me. The date had started fine, the way they always do with guys you meet online, and he picked this place because he said it was his favorite spot, even though it was 40 minutes from my apartment in a part of town I didn't recognize. His name was Chris, and his photos matched his face, and he laughed at my jokes during appetizers, so I figured I had gotten lucky with a normal one. But somewhere between the entrees and dessert, he leaned forward and asked, "So do you live alone, or do you have roommates?" And when I said I had a roommate, he nodded and said, "Interesting. Would they notice if you came home late tonight, or do they pretty much keep to themselves?" I told him she always waits up for me, but something about the way he tilted his head when I answered made me feel like he already knew that. When I excused myself to go to the bathroom, he stood up and said, "I'll walk you there. Make sure you get there safe." And when I said that was unnecessary, he put his hand on my lower back and guided me toward the hallway anyway, with a grip firm enough that I couldn't pretend it was friendly. I told him I had to make a phone call, and he said, "That's fine. Just don't take too long because I already paid the bill." I said I was actually feeling tired and might head home early, and he smiled and said, "That's going to be difficult because I noticed your tires were looking a little flat, so you're probably going to need a ride home with me." I had to force myself to keep my composure, as I realized that this man wasn't going to let me leave alone. I told him I needed one more drink before we left because I wanted to calm my nerves, and he thought that was a great idea because it meant I was warming up to him. I walked to the bar while he stayed at the table watching me, and I leaned over the counter and whispered to the bartender that I needed an angel shot with lime. It's a code word that tells the staff you're in danger and need them to call the police, something I read about online after my friend got stalked by a guy she met at a concert. The bartender scrunched up his face and said, "Oh, what?" So I repeated it quieter, "Angel shot with lime," but he just stared at me like I had ordered something in another language. He turned around and screamed across the entire bar to the female bartender who was restocking glasses, "Hey Jess, do you know how to make an angel shot?" And I felt every nerve ending in my body catch fire at the exact same moment. The female bartender dropped what she was holding and her eyes locked onto mine with a look that told me she understood everything, and she started moving toward me so fast she knocked over a tray of cups. But Chris got there first. He grabbed my arm hard enough to leave bruises and yanked me backward off the bar stool. And when I screamed, he announced to the whole restaurant, "She's my girlfriend. She's had way too much to drink. I'm so sorry for the disturbance." His voice was calm and reasonable, exactly the kind of guy you would believe over a hysterical woman at a bar. The female bartender yelled, "Let her go right now," and he said, "This is none of your business. She's coming with me, or I'm going to show everyone in this restaurant exactly what kind of girl she really is." The manager came out from the back because he heard screaming, and behind him was a security guard who looked like he could bench press a car. Chris kept his grip on my arm and said, "We're leaving. This is just a misunderstanding." But the female bartender said quietly to the manager and security guard, "She ordered an angel shot." The security guard stepped forward and said, "Let go of her immediately." And Chris's face twisted into something I had never seen on another human being before. He let go of my arm and shoved me into the bar, and then he pointed at me and said, "You're going to regret this. I know where you live. You think this is over, but it's not even close to over." And the security guard grabbed him by the collar and dragged him toward the door, while Chris screamed threats the whole way out. The female bartender helped me up and walked me to the back office while someone called the police, and I sat there for 3 hours giving my statement and watching them tow my car with 4 slashed tires.